to kind of show up today. I think it's helpful to know the story behind a journey, right? And I think it's really helpful to understand that everybody struggles in their business. Everybody has um, kind of a way of thinking before they start their business. And when they do start, there's always like an epiphany. There's always something that you learn or you found out that you didn't know before. So I made a post today asking you specifically about what it is that you are struggling. And I just posted it not too long ago, and it was like a ton of you guys just like, right? You laid it out, right? You pretty much just laid it out. About what your biggest struggle is that you think is preventing you from success in your business, right? Feel free to comment below. Let me know, like, what is it, right? What is it do you feel that is preventing you from being successful in your business? Um, I will tell you this. When I first started, I didn't have a lot of guidance. I first started this business back in, it was a different company at the time, but it was October of 2018. Okay. And I was selling bags. I didn't really know much about the bags. I knew that at one point we had bags, right? And I knew about this company just because of that. Like we had bags like laying around in the house. And I met somebody in the neighborhood, just to give you guys that story. And she used to live a couple houses down. And we had just moved over to Florida. This was like our first home that we bought together. And at the time, I was a brand new stay-at-home mom. I didn't really have a lot of friends here in Florida. So it was my way of just really making friends and having people to talk to. And she lived so close by. So I thought, okay, this would be fun. Maybe I'll make some money at the same time, right? So when I first started, I had some guidance from her, but it was obvious that she didn't have a lot of guidance either, right? Like just kind of like diving into the thing. She did the best that she could. But after my launch party, I realized, oh my gosh, like what do we do now? Right? Like where do we go from here? And I remember just thinking like, okay, where there has to be some kind of guide or reference or like step by step somewhere, right? Something that just kind of tells you, all right, after your launch party, this is what's going to happen. At least give you like the expectation after you start your business and then how to actually build your business. And there was like nothing. Like there really wasn't. There was like people asking questions in these support groups about, hey, like anybody have some good tips on like scripts to say to ask somebody to host a party, or does anybody have like, just some kind of resource to help with seeing if we can get somebody on the hostess of the month club and all these different things. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like how does anybody create success in a business that doesn't have a system, right? Now since then maybe they've created a system, maybe it was just the team, I don't know. But at the time, I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, now I have to learn all this stuff, right? I joined for the community, and I joined, really the idea was to make maybe some extra money, right? So maybe you can relate to that. Comment below if that sounds like you, or if that sounds like maybe an experience that resonates a little bit with you. You started, maybe you had an awesome launch, right? And then it was like, poof, now it's just time to figure it out, right? Now it's just time to find a lead, find a host, find somebody who wants to do business with you, find somebody who could be interested in the products, right? And that really does, what that did to me was put me in a line of fire, because it's like, man, like I had such a great launch party. I had that taste of success for a moment, but there wasn't a resource that I could actually attach myself to. So hence this group, right? I had to figure out those resources. So what I started doing was, because I didn't know what else to do, is I started going live. I didn't really know how to reach people. I didn't know about like messaging. I didn't know how to do the follow up. I didn't know what the right words were. All I knew was that when I worked in my corporate job in sales, that I did a lot of the selling in person. So I thought, okay, well, maybe if I go live in my group, right, maybe I could convince people to do business with me. And so that's what I did, right? I came up with a silly game, right? It was like little pieces of paper had numbers on them, and it was called bingo. And I started doing that. And then all of a sudden, I started gaining some traction. People wanted to host parties with me because I was in a party business at the time. And it was awesome because I had figured something out. And then when I went back into my community, guys, I realized there were still people asking a ton of questions. So I thought, okay, well, let me just make this group, right? And I made the solutions for sellers. At the time, it was Janet's personalized solutions for sellers. Okay. It was like really, really, I thought it was clever because the personalized was a purse, like the PURSE inside of a personalized word. It was super clever because, I sold purses and bags. Anyway, I changed it. But at the time, I opened this group just to make that live video and show people in my community, in my company, how I was getting all these parties. Well, the group grew overnight to about 1,000 people, right? And then more people were inviting their teams, leaders were joining, all these people were joining the group because I was just doing these trainings, right? And I was just sharing, hey, like, I know there's not like a guide or anything. I know there's like, ideas, but try this, right? Here are some awesome ways that it's working for me. And that's what I did, right? Now, looking back now, I had to make that successful because I had to go and find my resources. I had to go and find my foundation. I had to go and create that system for myself. And then this was a system that I gave to my team. My team were doing great at it, right? So it's like you had to be the tip. I had to be the tip of my own spear, which was really, really hard when you're already brand spanking new, right? So maybe some of you guys can relate. Like when you started your business, did you have all the answers? Because I didn't. So one of the things, and the only reason really I'm doing this live is because I wanted to share my experience because I feel like a lot of y'all are in this boat of the struggle bus because you don't have the basics down, right? You don't necessarily have a guide or a step by step or a resource showing you, honing in on what you need to do on a daily basis in order to grow your business. We all get so focused on what to post, how many likes, how much engagement, what to say in my VIP group, how to get people to host parties and all this stuff. And we get so kind of lost in that disorganization, right? That we forget that it's the basics, it's the foundation that you need to really perfect in order for you to create that success. But then the next question becomes, what is the foundation? What is the basics? Right? So I've got like 3 things I wanted to share with you guys. These are 3 things I wish I knew before I started my direct sales business online. And I hope that this resonates with you guys. So number one, here's the number one thing that I think everybody here needs to hear that I didn't know I needed to hear. Number one, self-development, daily self-development is one of the biggest key factors to your success. What you pour into yourself matters because what you pour into yourself is what eventually you will outpour to everyone else. So you have to ask yourself, right, on your day to day, when you're on autopilot and you're doing the things you got to get done, right? And you're doing your thing, you got to ask yourself, am I in a spot where I'm ready to receive success? And that's a really difficult question for a lot of us because if you're not in a spot mentally and emotionally where you're ready to receive success, you just will not receive success. You're just going to continue on autopilot because you're not mentally there, right? Even though we want the success, you have to be available for the success, right? I saw a lot of comments on that post, and I'll just read some really fast. Let me see if I can open this up. But if you guys didn't see this last post, I just wanted to experiment and see where you guys were at, right? So there's 24 comments on it right now. Time management, but I'm also my biggest problem, right? I'm also my biggest problem. That's a self-acknowledgement statement, but it's also kind of a self-sabotage, right? People saying they have too many bags that they don't want to purchase. Me and my mindset starting to finally get a daily plan on place, slowly starting to turn around, which is great. Sales, my last 2 parties barely qualified for rewards, right? Well, there's a foundation that's going to help you with the sales. Connections, I need a wider audience. Don't know how to get people to see what I see in my products, right? Mindset, I'm my worst enemy, right? So there's so many good stuff in here. Technology, somebody said technology, I just don't know how to use anything, right? Do I have to pick just one? Time connections, people not having as much money to spend, right? Me, my lack of consistency, time, all of the above, mindset. A lot of this is time, mindset, and just basic knowledge, right? What if you had a resource that just had basic knowledge? I've been working on a strong morning routine. That's a great start. Having a strong morning routine can be life changing when you commit yourself to the habit. It takes on average 66 days to develop a habit that's set in stone that's become second nature on average, right? Are you going to make it to the 66 days? How do you make it to the 66 days? By being intentional and by making it a focus and treating it like a full-time job, right? You got to be at work, right? I got to have my morning routine, no excuses, right? So, number one, you have to really think about, am I pouring into myself the way that I should, right? And how am I doing that? How is that serving me? How is that serving my audience? How is that serving the people that are surrounding me, right? Number two, perfecting and practicing basic concepts, basic systems will compound itself. This was something I wish I knew when I first started. It's not about hopping on the trends. It's not about making sure you're on a reel because everybody's on reels now, right? It's not about all that. It's not about making sure that you're doing what everybody else is doing because that's the trend. Oh my goodness, a new social media app just opened. That means I need to be on it, right? You can be successful and never ever have to open up like a new social media profile on something new, right? Some of us, they were on my coaching call last night, well, I feel like I need to be on this platform, this platform, this platform, right? It's not about that. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. What you need to focus on, this is the second one that I wish I knew when I first started, is just practicing the basics and getting really good at it. And then just being consistent. Because when you do that, those things will compound within itself. And that's what's going to create your success. You don't need to be on a TikTok and have a viral video for you to create success, right? Hope is not an effective strategy, but you know what is? A system and consistency to the system. All right. So that's the second thing. And I got to ask you guys while you're watching, if you end up watching on the replay, do you have a system in place for your business? Do you have something that you can stick to? Are you practicing the basics, or are you too scared and you're allowing fear to hold you back that's not allowing you to move forward? Is your life disorganized? Is your schedule disorganized? Are you using the excuse of, oh, I'm tired, or I deserve this and I deserve to watch Netflix and all these other things, right? This is like that real self reflection. And here's the third one that I wish I knew: structure and balance is needed for long term success. Structure and balance is needed for long term success. If you do not have structure in your life, it's going to reflect in your business, right? You have to create that structure. And I don't care how busy your schedule is, if you have 3 jobs, you can create a structure for yourself. And it has to include your 4 things: me time, social time, non negotiables, right? And me time, social time, non negotiables, and business time. Those are the 4, right? If, as long as you have those 4 in your schedule, and you're busy, maybe you're going from one thing to the other. That's life, right? We're all busy, but we all have the same 24 hours in the day. What are you doing with your time? Okay. You need that structure and you need that balance. When you're overwhelmed and you're tired and you're feeling unaccomplished consistently, it's not going to motivate you to do more. It's going to motivate you to do less, right? I see this in action every single day. Preach. Yes. So you need to remove that emotional home that you've put yourself in, right? You got to remove that conditioned state of being that you're in and put yourself in a spot where you're not feeling that way, right? And the only way to do that is by being intentional, right? So I want you guys to really think about those 3 things, maybe rewatch this video if you need to, if it's helpful for you. Okay? And let me just tell you this too. That's the reason why I'm so passionate about this program that I just launched. I launched it in January. My students are already getting some amazing results from it, but it's called the Elite Academy Coaching Program. This is a 6-month coaching and curriculum where you get to work with me, okay? And all of these foundations, all of these systems, all of these locked and loaded things that you need to know, the basics, right? Perfecting and practicing the basics are included. And guess what? You get the added bonus of talking to me, right? You can message me whenever you want on Boxer. You get the weekly progress check ins with me. I get to coach you and give you that direct feedback that you need for your business. And it's so beneficial. I will tell you guys this, right? I didn't know I had a ceiling in my business and in my life until I invested in my mentor last October. And now my business, like, I got my return on investment within like 6 months. Absolutely incredible. Why? Because I applied myself. I realized that I don't know what I don't know. And I need balance. I need structure. I have all of this going on. How do I do that? Right? How do I find those answers without having to go through on YouTube and boot camp after boot camp after masterclass, right? Like, we could be professional students all day long, but it doesn't necessarily matter unless you are applying it and implementing. And that's what this program is all about. I hold you accountable. This 6-month program is designed for the online seller who needs structure and balance, the online seller that just needs to take it back to basics, right? And developing the foundation that they need in order to build that empire, in order to build that house and create that success for yourself. So I want you to ask yourselves, do you have the foundation? And if you don't, I want to invite you to check out this academy, Elite Academy program. Again, it's a 6-month program. Comment below with the word elite if you want some information. I'd love to be able to invite you into this. I'm not going to invite a ton of students, right? We're going to kind of cap it to a certain amount every month so that it's a little easier for me to be able to interact with all of y'all and really just give you that coaching that you need. But if you're ready to take it to the next level and take your business to the next level and really get that structure in place, I would love to work with you. I'd love that opportunity for you to work with me. So thank you guys so much for hopping on today. For those of you that do comment elite, we will get back to you. I'll send you a message. And I'm excited, guys. Enrollment actually ends the 1st of April. So make sure to, get it in now. All right. So I will see you guys later. Enjoy your Friday. Bye, friends.